Hi, good morning, good afternoon. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Okay, it is 11:01 at Mexico, so let's start conference. Thank you for joining us. My name is Yusuke Yamazaki. I'm coordinating this conference to share the information about the PSCR. And this session, I'm going to record for our to share with another partners. So please remember, and please put note your name, your company name, and how many years in your company, and your position at meeting chat. For example, I'm Yusuke Yamasaki, so I'm from Joyson, 20 years, and I'm supplier quality. I'll put the message in the chat so we can share who assists the conference. Miriam, could you please start the explanation, please?
Yes, sure. Good afternoon. I'm just gonna introduce myself. I'm Miriam Montaño. I'm operations for Joyson Acuña, and I'm the actual product safety and conformity representative for my location. This is the reason I'll be giving you an introduction to this. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, so if we are ready, we will start. Again, this is an introduction. It's not the actual training. We want to give you this introduction because there's a requirement. As you know, you may be aware, your product, your component is actually used on a final product that goes to an European market. This being said, it is a customer requirement to have a product safety and conformity representative for all the supply chain. So before you delegate this within your organization, we want you to understand what is exactly a representative, what is expected, what is needed. Okay. I'll be going through this training material, and if there's any question, please let me know. We can respond it. The training was scheduled for 2 hours, but in reality, we can make it in 1 hour. It's not too long. It's just the introduction, and it's just for product safety and conformity representative. There will be another training sessions or introduction sessions in regards to BDA 6.3 and 6.5. Yusuke, you should be receiving an invitation from Yusuke for those training or introduction sessions as well. So if you do not see that invitation, please let Yusuke know. Okay. Okay, so we are starting now with product recall. Maybe we will understand later on why we have to start with product recall. Unfortunately, product recall is necessary. Unfortunately, it's growing, but recall is necessary. Why is necessary? Because when there's something, an item within the motor vehicle or the equipment that is not complying with the standards, the federal motor vehicle standards, then a recall needs to be initiated. There are government agencies, which we will review in a couple of more slides, that set the minimum performance of requirements for all the parts that go on the vehicle. So it can guarantee a safe operation, as brakes, tires, lights. So this is to protect the drivers and the passengers from death or serious injuries in the event of a crash or an accident. Airbags, seat belts, car seats, boosters, energy absorbing steering columns. These standards are applicable to all vehicles and vehicle related equipments, or anything that is manufactured or imported for sale in a specific country and certified for use on public roads and highways. But we talked about safety related defects. What is this? A safety related defect is any defect related to performance, construction, component, or material of the motor vehicle or motor vehicle equipment. Generally, a safety defect is defined as a problem that exists in a motor vehicle or item on the motor vehicle that poses a risk and may exist in a group of vehicles of the same design, manufacturer, or items of equipment of the same manufacturer. I think we all have a kind of knowledge of what is recall. We just want to make sure why is needed, where it's coming from. This is the trend on the recalls. As you can see, unfortunately, there has been an increase, a dramatic increase through the last past years compared to before the early 2000s. Why is this? There's been a lot of changes. Consumer lawmakers' expectations for vehicle continue increasing. Regulations and laws are also changing, increasing. Technology is more complex for vehicles. Government agencies are more sensitive. What is this? That any issue is escalated fast, and preventive and containment actions are required. So everything moves faster, and also we have the communication, internet. With internet right now, the information is shared faster. So this, as an impact, we have an increased recall quantity. Talking about complex technology, if we compare vehicles from the first vehicles, technology has changed and continues changing. We can compare here the vehicle lights, the old technology against the modern technology, and obviously there's a lot of complexity associated with this. There's other things that need to take care of where before it was simple. And on the bottom you have the steering wheel, the main function. And right now, to that main function, we are adding a lot of items to take care now. So what are the facts about product safety and conformity? As we can see, there's a continuous challenge on automotive industry. This is expanding through all the supply chain for automotive industry. All the OEMs analysis indicate that most of the field actions are related to supply chain production processes. This is a reason, this is one of the reasons that you will start seeing that it's more pressure to get the same requirements that the OEMs were putting on tier ones to go all the way to the supply chain. And it's part of the reason that we are in this introduction. This is the reason Volkswagen Group, in this case, your product, your component, is goes to a final product for that goes on a VW automotive vehicle. So Volkswagen has requested that all OEMs have a PSCR, that is our product safety and conformity representative, an internal position within every supply chain company. Not only the tier one, but all the tiers must have their representative. IFTF did integrate product safety as high priority since 2016. There's a clause that covers this, 4.41.2. However, it's handled different between OEMs and supply base. This is the reason that it was added BDA 6. It has been on BDA 6.1 since 1996. However, there was a change recent. It was previously called as product safety representative, and now it has been replaced by product safety and conformity representative. On this session, is somebody already a PSV and is going to migrate to PSCR? No? Okay. Okay, because product safety representative is very similar. There are some small changes, so we just wanted to know if there was a previous information. So every organization within the automotive supply chain is obligated to ensure that safety and conformity of its product. So it's not only the tier one, it goes through all the supply chain. Going to product integrity in BDA. BDA is a quality system management system requested by the European customers. And part of this is it includes product integrity, as we mentioned. There's a clause within BDA. So there's a book that we recommend. If you can obtain this book, you can get it through internet. You can buy it. It's $45, and it is very good because it gives you recommendations of what are your organization structure needed in processes to ensure that you can guarantee a product integrity. Right now, as it has been mentioned, companies have to deal with new customers, new customer expectations, specific requirements, country-specific laws and requirements that do apply to your products. So this is just helps you for those recommendations on how to deal with it, what what to put in place in order to guarantee that compliance. Now, we need to talk about legal basis. Here we're going to go back all the way to Hammurabi Code. Hammurabi Code is the oldest standards or the oldest legal basis that we could go back. And this is basically for conduct and peace. Hammurabi Code was used to prevent the strong from oppressing the weak. Yeah, and you could be asking, oh, what is this related to PSCR? So this is just for you to understand where all this is coming. Hammurabi Code said if a builder completes a house and it's not built correctly and house falls down, owner is killed, then builder must be executed. If the owner's son is killed, builder's son must be executed. That's the way it was handled. So that was called sanction. Right now, in this period, sanction related to negligence, deaths, injuries, environmental impacts. For that, there's a public law that covers in case there's a defective product where the conclusion is negligence and the result is death. So on the Hammurabi Code, if the owner worker dies, the builder must provide another worker to the owner. If the builder damages the owner assets, this must provide a compensation for all the damages resulted by the incorrect construction. Right now, in the current period of time, there are purchase contracts that calls for all the warranty terms, all the work contracts, and this is covered under civil law that covers damages. I don't know if there's any question. Okay. What is civil law? What are the responsibilities for German products? A product has a defect if this does not provide the safety required, considering the following. It can be the presentation, the expected use, on the moment when the product was introduced to the market. A product is not defective just because there's an improvement implemented after this was introduced. Now, we start with product integrity. Product integrity has it is both. It's product safety and product conformity. It's not only one. That's the difference. Where before it was just PSB, and right now it's PSCR because it's including both. Safety, which says product can be supplied in the market only if this is used as intended, according to the plant conditions, in the way there's no safety or healthy risks to the person. And product conformity, it's for all processed products and services provided must meet all legal requirements and regulations applicable to the export and import countries and final country of the vehicle specified by the customer. This is very important because a lot of the times we do not have clear my part, where is gonna go, where is gonna end. And each government agency or each country has their own requirements. So it's very important to understand your final product, where it's gonna, what markets it's gonna cover. If customer indicates special supervision requirements for the term products, the organization must assure this is followed and maintained, including all the supply chain. What are the organization responsibilities? The organization is responsible to provide as an instructor that minimizes the defective product risk. Also is responsible, in your case, you may not be responsible for design, but if you are, then you would be responsible, but I understand that Joyson is the one that designs the components, but responsibility is to prevent errors. If during the design or you see that there's a potential for error, we need to raise the hand, because we must meet safety and legal requirements. Company must be responsible for errors occur during the product manufacturing, including abnormal defects. Product control. Once the product is introduced to the market, the company must control the product following the required actions when errors are produced. There has to be a follow-up when there's an error detected, going from just information all the way to product recall. When there's an error that is detected, communication must follow, and the analysis, a proper analysis. Company is responsible in case of the use or warning instructions are incorrect, whenever it's applicable. These are the government agencies that I mentioned. As we see, we have agencies through all the world, and they control certain countries. Here is the list of all the current government agencies. So again, it's very important for you to understand where your component or what markets your components are going to. I don't know if there's any question at this moment. Okay, so I'll continue. Regulation requirements, contractual requirements. So here we just want to explain that regulation is the one that supersedes everything. There are safety legal requirements, and if you see, there's more freedom on the bottom, because those are company rules, requirements that can be adjusted as needed. However, as you go up all the way to regulations, there's no way that there can be a freedom to modify or to adapt, and the safety legal requirements increase. Here is just to show, talking about Europeans regulation, which is ECE. This is just a list of all the regulations for vehicles, and the one marked with the star is R16, which is the one related to safety belts or restraint systems. In this case, this is the regulation that we follow for the products that we provide for the European market. Is there any question at this moment?
No, madam.
Okay, thank you. This is just information, okay? Okay. Organization structure for product integrity. Why you are here? As we mentioned before, every organization within the automotive supply chain is obligated to ensure the safety and conformity of the products. For this reason, it has to be on all respective countries and regions. Current legal status on product integrity must be observed. Safety expectations of general product public must be fulfilled. When there's a product considered as unsafe in the market or legal requirements are questionable, responsibles are obligated to initiate the necessary actions. There's where we go to the why the Hammurabi Code talking about sanctions and compensation. We go to the civil laws where there's unsafety in the market. We need to go back and take the necessary actions. Company responsibilities and obligations. As we know, company has multiple responsibilities. Legal, operations, social, safety, economic. There's multiple responsibilities and multiple obligations. Organization, supervision, selection, execute, you name it. But who within the company assumes the responsibility? There's a lot of things going on. There's multiple areas that need to be covered. So here is an organizational hierarchy. The higher the level, the responsibility increases. At the top, you have the direction, corporate direction. And the top responsibility must be handled by the direction, actually. This cannot be delegated. At the end, there's a lot of items that need to happen, but the top direction is at the end responsible. However, there's a lot of things or activities, tasks that need to happen, and it cannot be handled by this group. Here's where we start with that delegate. Task needs to be delegated, and there are going to be responsibles for these tasks. However, the person that delegates the direction continues being responsible. He continues to be responsible. Supervision is required. There's a responsibility to supervise. It's not just a matter of transferring the responsibility, but at the same time, there has to be a supervision. So at the end, the top management or corporate direction continues being the responsible. As we mentioned, there has to be responsibilities delegated. For this, it has to be very clear what are the tasks that are going to be delegated, what is expected. There has to be competences, what experience and what resources are needed. There has to be responsibility. It needs to be understand what responsibility is associated with these obligations. And there are some rules. Transfer of obligations must be in writing. The tasks must be clear and have to be exact, detail as needed. A follow-up must be defined. Selection must be careful, reviewing competencies and qualification of the person. And communication must be clear with the delegation content. So, talking about delegation, now we talk about product integrity delegation. Now we start with product integrity. There's some errors on delegating this responsibility. There's some trend to delegate for a short-term, last-minute decision. In this case, we have, for example, JSS. JSS is asking for a PSCR representative, and you need to send me the letter with who's gonna be. So we make the decision in a rush without taking all the consideration of what is exactly the responsibility. So that's what we wanted to avoid, and that's the reason we are taking this time from you to explain you what is exactly the representative responsibility, so you can have the time to select properly, to have a correct selection and not go into having the incorrect selection. The obligation is too critical and the selected person is not the qualified. The obligation is not clearly defined. The obligation is delegated, but the person does not have empowerment to make decisions. So I give the responsibility, but the person cannot make any decision. There's no supervision or monitor, and the obligation is distributed to multiple persons at the same time. So what are the competencies required to select the representative? Seniority, loyalty is associated with loyalty. It doesn't mean that you can have somebody new in your company that maybe has expertise, experience in a different company. It can, but it's something that your company will evaluate. But we want you to have the time to go back and make the evaluation and understand if the person that you are selecting is the correct one. It needs to have skills of problem investigation and solution, an assertive person. Skills negotiation, understanding and sensitivity to the scope for the assigned responsibility. So these are responsibilities related to product integrity. Some of the responsibilities are related to prevention, conduct an evaluation for potential errors. This is what we call the PFMEA. Evaluate customer concerns. If there are customer concerns where there's a product safety issue related that needs to be followed on the field, there has to be an analysis. The responsibility is to make an analysis. Also, this has to be an implementation of countermeasures, including the follow-up to confirm that these countermeasures were effective. There has to be a risk evaluation on product safety items. Also, there has to be a prevention and follow-up on legal requirements compliance. Also, there has to be knowledge of the rules, requirements, and laws applicable for the product. So all these is going to a culture, rigor culture, to prevent and make sure that there is compliance. Now, going to product safety and conformity representative. This is selected and assigned by the direction, as it was mentioned on the previous slides. It is very important to guarantee that the responsibilities, the legal responsibilities, are clearly assigned. PSCR must have the support from the organization direction on all cases and activities required. As we mentioned, the direction continues being the responsible, and this responsibility is delegated to the PSCR, and direction needs to continue giving support on anything required. It is not a requirement, but if needed, this must be reflected on the employee contract. an update to the employee contract to formalize and have a clear description for this assigned responsibility. The PSCR is responsible for product safety and some legal requirements. Introduces the requirements from the development all the way through the product life cycle. That means that the PSCR has to be involved whenever there's a new component being developed. The PSCR has to be involved to watch and to confirm that the prevention and compliance is always there. And it is a technical person that supports on issues related to product integrity. And also, PSCR must have a clear communication skills and empowerment. Again, PSCR must be prepared for the assigned responsibility. This is the reason we are giving you this introduction. There's the book, Product Integrity. It is recommended. If you can obtain it, it will be great. Again, introduces the requirements from the development all the way to the life cycle. And it's a guide to be in compliance, to meet and follow rules. It needs to have knowledge and countermeasures in place within the company. And it needs to have clear de-escalation process when the requirements are not met or infringed. Is there any question at this moment? Okay. No. Thank you. Okay. So what is the knowledge that the PSCR must have? Knowledge, obviously, on which products are supplied by the company. Knowledge on the locations of the organization, the structure, and the production methods. Knowledge on how products are used, assembled, and final purpose. This is something really important, as well as knowing on what countries or what the product is going. It's very important to understand your product, how it interacts with the final product, with the purpose of the product. It's really key from the early stages, from development, to understand it, so the proper controls can be placed and prevent any possible issue. Knowledge of the product logistic, supply chain, knowledge on the organization management, and knowledge on the communication chain within the company for the escalation purposes. So this goes back to the qualifications, to that the person that you select as PSCR needs to have a background, needs to have kind of an experience, and also on the product, on the process, on the organization. So this, in case one is to prevent, and the second is in case there's any issue, the actions can be taken correctly and quickly. So there's obligations and by being the PSCR. The obligations are to be involved in the evaluation of new products, technologies, or processes. To have a special attention to new suppliers, relocations, changes, to establish communication chain, to understand applicable product laws and requirements, to assure processes in place documented to meet laws and requirements. It doesn't mean that PSCR is the one that is gonna be doing the actual, but it needs to be involved on the process to make sure that all this is being compliant. Define a list of requirements to be reviewed and updated frequently. Is responsible or obligations to understand product phases from development all the way to service. To integrate product integrity during product approval stages. Also to conduct line walks periodically to confirm product integrity related characteristics defined as safety. Initiate escalation in case there's a discrepancy detected related to product integrity. So this is what we have. Now, what JSS is requesting is your organization commitment. As you understand, you are part of the supply chain for the product that we supply, and we need to have this commitment from your company as well that you have a product safety representative and that you selected and delegate the responsibility. So at the end, this is the target that we need from your company to return this letter with the person that is going to be the representative. We are giving you the time to review with your team, with your staff, who is the best person to be the representative. So we were giving up to next Friday, November 12th, but if you already have it and you consider going through this material you consider that is the correct person, please go ahead and send us this letter as soon as you have it. It's a requirement from our customer specific requirement and we will need to have this from your location. I don't know if there's any question.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Hi, yes, I have a question. Is it required to be certified? And is there a certification program available for PSCR at the moment?
What's mean, excuse me, what's mean PSCR?
You understand my question?
Yes. At this moment, we are asking for this commitment. Long term, yes, we would like if you could be certified, but the certification can be only by the approved Volkswagen Group. So it's not something our company can provide, as I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, Yusuke.
Yes, it's true. Certification will be provided by Volkswagen Academy or some agency, yes. But if your company consider the person who can take responsibility for PSCR, it is okay for us at this moment with this letter, which we are showing.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying.
Now, if there are changes within your company and you need to update the representative, we need to send the letter again, right, Yusuke? Or are we gonna be sending this annual, or how is gonna be working, Yusuke?
At this moment, we are not considering to check annually, but if your company made change for the position, Yes, you have to resend us for new person. Is there another question? Well, if there is no more question, thank you for joining us. And we are inviting you for next month for BDA 6.3 and DTLD self-assessment training with Joyson. If you are interested in, but you don't have any invitation, please tell me. I'm coordinator for next training also. And thank you very much for joining the conference.
Thank you. We appreciate the time, and please don't forget to send this commitment letter before the time, the due date.
Thank you, Miriam and Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.